Good morning. It's 9:02 and 18 seconds, October 16th, 2023. On a Monday, I have audio confirmation. I was on time. I went to click the stream button in XSplit and it just wouldn't click. My video was still live. I could still see myself in XSplit. It looked fine, but the stream button was not clickable. So I had to end task on XSplit and relaunch it. So there we go. Nick Poverman, no ads today. So today I've got, let's see, Martin Hoggs sent me something by email. We've had a couple of email interchanges. I'm hoping he's going to be able to send photos of the memory boards he's dealing with. I've got an update for Big Beast build for the crash on Saturday, and I've got an update for this computer here. I have a bunch of pictures of those topics and more. So I think I'm going to just go ahead straight into the pictures. And these pictures are kind of mixed in order, not segregated by the computers. So because I was working and my buttons aren't working. Okay. So the old-fashioned way means click on this one, I think. Yeah, there's the first photo. Is that the first one? Okay. Is it going to let me switch? Yes. Okay. So for Big Beast build, the crash on Saturday, I just chose not to restart the stream because we've gone an hour and a half as it was. So since then, I've been thinking about and doing some research. What I'm highly suspicious of now is the amount of memory that I have in this computer. But here's some things I did. I came across this OCCT test software for testing memory and CPU. And when I went to do that, the computer sort of locked up, but sort of not. It was not responsive to anything on Big Beast build screens, but I was still able to connect remotely to it. This is Big Beast build from Baby Beast that I could connect remotely to it. And there I am connected. Now, I didn't even try to do a remote control session. What I did is I went to System Info and started pulling up information. I was able to bring up dashboard content and processes for Big Beast build, and it was still, so it was responding to those commands remotely. And I'll come in here for a little bit. Don't need to show all of those, the detail of all of those, because it's irrelevant. Here's what was showing on the three screens at the time. I couldn't click on anything or move anywhere. And I just figured that the test was running the CPU pretty much at 100%. Well, 80% is what it showed, but I couldn't get any response to the keyboard and mouse while that was running. Now here you see 5 p.m. yesterday requesting process information, and the next picture shows 5:01. I received process information. So it's slower than usual for bringing in the process information. Here are processes that we're running. And then what I do is I look at the highest 3 or 4 numbers here, and then I'll request process information again. And if those numbers change, that tells me it is still doing something. So it's still running on that test. Now I'm going to change subjects. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between Big Beast build and the HP computer for Barbara. This is Barbara's computer. I went into, I loaded Macrim Reflect from my thumb drive while connected to only the spinning hard drive. Remember, I did the upgrade to the SSD already. At this point in time, I have the SSD disconnected. I want to reformat the spinning drive to use it as a backup storage. So I wanted to go do a clean disk. So this is where I'm doing the clean disk using disk part from the Macrim Reflect thumb drive. So then the next one here, I do the clean command, and disk part succeeded in cleaning the disk. I didn't want to start the computer up with both the 2 terabyte spinning hard drive and the SSD in place because they both have that, what is it called, ESD, whatever that acronym is for that partition that controls which drive you're going to boot from. We need to have only one of those in the computer. I'm not sure what would happen if you have two drives that have that partition connected at the same time. Kind of curious to test that. Next photo, oh, that's a video by mistake. Going past that, and this is after I had completed the clean operation. These other drive letters I think are showing because the previous drives on that, the previous volumes on that drive had several drive letters, but now those drive letters are no longer available. There's another video by mistake. Now here's the SSD. I need to install it properly in the computer. So I've got one of these carriages or cartridges. Let's see, what do we call them? Drive bay mounting kit. No, I can't use my buttons. So to go over here to cam one, yeah. So they come two of these in a kit, and I like those particular kits pretty well. Then the next picture shows the bottom side with just having it screwed in place. And then here's the drive carriage in the HP computer. The way you take these out, there's these two Torx screws up at the top, and this bracket here is attached to the metal cage. There's a lever down here at the bottom. You have to press that lever down after having removed the screws, and then the carriage slides, let's see, that way, as from the picture that you're seeing on screen right now. You got to slide it back and then up. And that's not real obvious just by looking at it here, but there's a emblem on the cage here that gives instructions how to do that. I only point this out because there are symbols in the computer to help give you clues how to service things. I've found that in Dell computers and HP computers. And then here I'm showing that carriage is removed. I'm showing this angle to show this clip right here on the bottom of this carriage. It would slide into one of these slots right here. It's this slot for that clip. And then there's another clip on the other side, and it slides into here. So it would be tricky and difficult to remove this if you didn't realize that that's the way to remove it. Because if you just remove those screws back here and try to pull it up, you'll never get it up. It doesn't work. So then moving along, oh, here I'm showing that symbol here. It's showing that lever that you have to push down on, and as number 1, and number 2 shows the arrow for sliding that carriage out. And I point this out because I hear a lot of times the OEM manufacturers criticized for not being very serviceable. I find they are plenty serviceable. And then here's the, let's see, these clips here also are used to hold this carriage in place. And I'm going to go backwards a little bit and show these clips here on the side of the case that those slide into. So it's kind of like, I don't know, putting, Tinker Toys together? I was trying to think of those bricks, those little plastic bricks. But didn't think of the name. Now when this adapter is screwed into the carriage, these connectors, it's a little it's recessed. I would have liked this better if they made this adapter so that the SSD was out here on the back edge of the carriage like the 3.5-inch drive is. Moving on to the next picture. And then the connections on the motherboard for connecting the signal cables to. There are 4 different colors. Down here you can see SATA 3 and SATA 2. It's significant to plug these into the right one. So I had a spare cable to, why am I not even thinking of the right word for that? Yes, you can use a flathead screwdriver, Chris Garrett. Let's see, this one right here was connected to the spinning hard drive. This one is connected to the CD drive as SATA 2. Now go to the next picture, And we can see there's SATA 2, SATA 3, SATA 1. And you might think that, well, that's weird. Does this dark blue one SATA 4 then? No, if we zoom in enough, you see it's SATA 0. So what I like to do is connect the drive that I want it to be booting from to SATA 0. And I connected the 3.5-inch 2 terabyte drive that we're going to use as a backup drive to SATA 1, and then the CD drive to SATA 2. Okay, moving on to the next picture. That one, there's nothing I need to show there. That was just an extra picture.